guys, how's it going? So yesterday, Aaron and I went on sort of a date day to Boise to do a little bit of furniture shopping for our house. So I wanted to give you a tour of what we ended up with. No furniture, just a bunch of beautiful plants. We went to one furniture store, and that's about how long he and I last furniture shopping before we want to go look at fun stuff. So
we spent the majority of it in massage chairs.
Yeah. We were in the furniture store. Maybe, I don't know how long we sat in those massage chairs, but for a long time. Yeah. So anyway, it was a great day. We had just so much fun. We went to a couple of different garden centers, Edwards Greenhouse and then Madeline Hill, which I want to take you guys back to this spring because it was a magical place. I mean, even in the middle of winter, it was just, I wanted to spend so much time there. I kept going into their greenhouse, out into their yard, back into their greenhouse, just back and forth, looking at all the beautiful things. So, I mean, it's nice to have some gorgeous stuff to use in projects right now as well. So starting on this end, we've got a couple of just super healthy, robust looking calla lilies. This is the, boy, I don't even know how to say the botanical name, doesn't matter. It has white flowers. They grow about 18 to 24 inches tall, and it will start producing those white trumpet flowers like March through June-ish. We've got some kangaroo paws, which I've never grown before. This variety right here, does that help for contrast? Okay, it's pink, they're fuzzy. It's called Kanga Pink. The botanical is Anagoxanthus. I tried to start a variety of these from seed last year and was unsuccessful because I let the seed tray dry out, which, you know, sometimes that just happens. But I saw these and read on the tag that they are easy to grow indoors and outdoors. So I thought that would be so fun to see if they will do it inside for us. I know that they're not hardy to a zone 6. So we're gonna give it a try in here. We've got some beautiful Gerbera daisies, pink, yellow, orange. I got this from the tray of white Gerberas, so we'll see if that one ends up white once it opens up. We've got some dianthus, which I think I've got these kind of scattered throughout. Only few of them had open flowers, but I picked these out on purpose that have a lot of buds. This is called Super Trooper Magenta and White Pot Carnation. Oh yeah, they have that smell, that like clovey smell. I thought these would be really sweet to use in Valentine's and Easter projects. Couple of begonias here. Variety names undetermined. I don't know, let's see. This is a Whopper Rose with green leaf. Looks like Surefire Rose a little bit, but it's a little bit more open, don't you think? Surefire's a little bit more compact. This one is Big Pink Green Leaf. Both really beautiful. The tray right back here, we've got a couple of different types of, they just had, the label was holiday conifers. So anyway, we've got this one here, and then these two right here, just super sweet for maybe some smaller container projects. We've got 3 of the Ascot Rainbow Euphorbias, which, let me check the zone on this one. These might be, they're hardy to -10, so I could plant these outside. We'll use them in containers, plant them outside later. And then we've got a couple of heather. This is called White Perfection. Isn't that beautiful? Heather doesn't do super well for us outside for any length of time, but we're gonna give it a shot. We've got one of the Glacier Ivy, and now that I'm like looking at this load, I kind of wish I would have picked up a couple more of these. Ivy are just so nice to have in all different sorts of applications, whether or not we want to train them up a topiary, use them like kind of cascading out the side of a container arrangement. But this one looks so healthy and nice, and this one is displayed outside along with a few other things that I will show you. We've got a little baby lemon cypress. Isn't that cute? I got a couple of bigger ones at the end. And then we've got a euonymus. Let me bring this one forward, called Paloma Blanca. So it has the white new growth. Hold on, we've got sirens. Those sound pretty loud.
They're coming for you. It's the plant police.
Now this one is only hardy, well no, it's hardy to -10. So we could plant this one outside as well. 18 to 24 inches tall, 24 inches wide. Good for hedging. We should try this. Look at the leaves on this, you guys. They are so deep green and so glossy, and I love the growth structure. That would be a fun one to try in maybe a little bit larger scale, but we'll try one to start and see how it goes. We've got a beautiful little wintergreen right here. And of course I had to snag this one because of all the beautiful berries in here. This is a woody ground cover type plant that likes acidic soil, so it's not going to love it in our ground here because we're fairly high pH, but it spreads by rhizome, and it I guess is a really, really good ground cover in areas that have more acidic soil. So, and the leaves turn a darker color like this. You can see the deep, kind of deep green, burgundy kind of flecks in there, but then the lighter green during the summertime, and they can handle a lot of shade. But I thought this would look really cute in maybe a fairy garden. We've got one more of the little evergreens in here, and then I've got a couple herbs that I'm excited about. So we've got a rosemary, ARP rosemary. This needs water, it's light. And then we've got a bay laurel right here, which this one's called Little Ragu, Sweet Bay. Let's see, I don't know how big this one gets. Oh, 6 to 8 feet tall and 6 to 8 feet wide. It's only hardy 8 to 11, so we grow these in pots. But it's been a while since I've had a bay, so I was very excited to find one of those. And then another heather called Kramer's Red. Look. Can you see detail on that with that camera? Because the detail on these, they are just so unique looking. So, so pretty. I wish we could grow these out in our landscape. And then we've got a Kinnicknick called Massachusetts right here. This is a ground cover. These do well in our area. They're native here-ish. Not to our valley, but very close to us. But anyway, I'm really excited to try that one out. Then we found some alyssum, which alyssum is a wonderful, I mean, you think of it as an annual flower that you get in the spring, but they really are cold tolerant. If you have a place that you could winter yours over, it doesn't even have to be a heated structure. They really are super tough. So I was excited to find these because I think we'll be able to keep them happy in here and we'll keep them blooming. So the variety is White Knight. Then we've got a few more of the dianthus in here, and you can see them all budding up, and there's a little bit of color. Diamond Snow Euphorbia. I think they're both Diamond Snow. This one doesn't have a tag, but you know what, the difference to me, the Diamond Snow seems to have, versus like the Diamond Frost, they have more distinct clusters of bloom, while the Diamond Frost is a little bit more open and airy. So the Diamond Snow is the smaller of the 3 diamond euphorbias. There's Diamond Mountain, you know, that gets big, like I want to say 24 to 30 inches tall, don't quote me, but I think that's, I mean, it gets pretty sizable. And then you've got Diamond Frost, which is like a 12-inch size, maybe a little bit bigger, but more airy. And then Diamond Snow usually stays like 10 inches tall, so very compact, and usually has like a ton of flowers like this right here, very showy. We've got a whole flat of these little miniature daffs right here. I tried to pick ones again that were just budding up, that weren't in full color, so we can enjoy them for a really long time. This is just, to me, to see these, this is the whole reason why we went. These came from Edwards. I knew that they would probably have either hyacinths or daffs that were about ready to show color, and they sure did. I was very excited about that. A whole bunch of cyclamen. These are pretty easy to take care of, so long as you've got, you know, a fairly bright area and you bottom water these. They like to be bottom watered in my experience. I would love to be able to plant these outside, and I don't know if they have any zone type information. No, but I found that keeping them pretty consistently watered is the biggest thing. Fairly bright light, consistent water, beautiful color. There's some with, like this one right here has white margins and it's really fluffy and it has bigger leaves, versus like this pink right here, smaller blooms, more compact growth, smaller leaves. So we've got a lighter pink one here, dark magenta. I just tried to pick an assortment of colors. Some have heavier variegation, so more silver right in here than like this one right here. And there's even some red, you guys, because I was desperate for color. Like, what has blooms on it and has color? I mean, they're beautiful, and I think they'll be really fun to use in some Valentine's stuff. But again, we've got some nice huge blooms with bigger leaves. Look at the size of this leaf right here. They're so healthy looking too, versus the size of this one. Okay, we've got my trays of lettuce, which were already here. And then we've got a bunch of begonias. This is Adonia, pink. I don't know if they all have labels on them or not. This is a clusterish yellow one. This one has more orange. This one, Carnival orange / yellow. I love that. And this one kind of looks like popcorn to me. That doesn't look the same. Okay, that's not the same. Let me see if all of the tags have that. Oh, here we go. Valentina white. The white petals with that bright yellow center. So, so pretty. And then we've got 3 of the larger lemon cypress right here. And we had a whole bunch of lemon cypress up in our front sun porch, and we ended up moving them out here. We had a little bit of spider mite damage on some of them, but I was ready for some fresh ones. And then this is not the last plant, because we've got 3 more to show you. They're somewhere else, but this is a candy corn vine. Have you ever seen such a thing? I hadn't. I think it's just so pretty. These little flowers are fuzzy, like little fuzzy tubes. I imagine this looks like something a hummingbird would like. Here's the tag, a Menetia. It's only hardy in zone 8, so that's 10 degrees. Bloom time spring through frost, or I guess if you got it warm in the middle of winter, full to part sun. And it's a vining plant, so 2 to 3 feet wide and 5 to 10 feet tall if it's planted in the zone that it likes. Okay, the other 3 are right up here. Oh, Erin just pointed out like the biggest one. I just had my eyes looking at all this color down here. This is a kumquat. I've never had a kumquat before. You can see we've got some lemons, we've got a lime back there, but this is a Nagami kumquat right here. I don't know how many varieties of kumquats there are, but this one's only hardy to 20 degrees, so it needs to be in a structure that's warm. So we can either have it in the Hartley or keep it in here. It might do the front sun porch. I've kept citrus out there before, but you can see the fruit. They're kind of an oval, a couple inches long. They're thin-skinned, and you can eat the peel. And I ate one yesterday because one fell off when I was putting it in the car, and it is good. Like, the peel is super, super sweet. The inside is kind of a sweet tart, and the more I ate it, the more I liked it. The first bite, I was kind of like, this feels weird. I shouldn't be eating the peel of this fruit. Super strong citrus, like if you just kind of roll the fruit around in your hand and smell. But they were really tasty, so I'm excited. And this is a super good looking plant. Like, look at that. There are fruit like that are not ripe yet. And then there are a few fruit that are. It's kind of fun to get a citrus that already has fruit so you can taste it and kind of see what the plant looks like. Super excited about that one. We've got a few really exciting things up here. First of all, some Alberta spruce, dwarf Alberta spruce here. One is in the topiary shape. Just picked it up because it was so cute. And we always find uses for topiaries like this. And the fact that it's so small means I could even use it in more of a smaller mixed arrangement. And then we got a cone-shaped one too. Now out in the landscape, they're hardy to -50, zone 2 through 8, dang. Part to full sun. I don't know does it have a full size on here? 8 feet tall, 5 feet wide in its natural form. I tend to like the Albertas when they're shaped a little bit more. And then we have a myrtle topiary, which we are going to repot today. That's our project for the day. The rest of these I'm just going to kind of hang on to. We're going to use off of them through this next month or so. And I want them to have a minute to kind of get used to their new surroundings. So they spent the first night in here last night. They all seem to be okay. So I'm happy about that. And usually further on in the day, this whole side is pretty sunny, so I think that they'll enjoy that spot. But the myrtle topiary, they had some really beautiful ones, and I think that this one looked so healthy and so wonderful. And myrtles are pretty fussy plants in my experience because they like a lot of humidity and we're so dry, so I'm gonna have to mist it all the time. But I thought I could either put this in our kitchen. It's a fairly low light area, but these that might not work. I might have to do the Hartley for that one and just keep it right by the sink. So I make sure to water it all the time. That's the thing with these. They want a lot of water, a lot of humidity, so that consistent care. And I think if it's right next to a sink, it'll hopefully get that. But I got this Wakefield pot to put it in. Isn't that beautiful? I don't have any of this type. And this brand is like a thing. Like it's a big fancy brand. I don't prefer the ruffly ones. I loved this one though. And I thought that this, like perfection. Love this. So that is the project. I think that's all the plants. Oh, I did get one African violet, which I will show you later on. We'll do some African violet repotting here very soon. That one's already in the studio. Okay, so I want to get set up to repot this. I think we might flip the table around because the sun is right in my face. So let us get set up and then we'll get this done. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just check out what the root system looks like. It looks healthy. It's not root bound, which is really nice. Root bound plants tend to dry out a lot faster, and that's not something I want for this one. You will notice it is at a lean right here. So when we plant it, I'm going to be rectifying that a little bit and kind of popping it up on one side so it's a little straighter. I'm using the organic potting mix for this one. No special soil needed. And I'm not putting anything at the bottom. You can see that the drain hole is decent size. It's not too big. If it was too big for something like this, I would maybe put like a flat piece of rock or something like that to sort of cover it to help more water stay in this container. But we'll be putting this in a saucer anyway because it's going to be inside. So we're going to pack some soil down at the bottom. And then, you know what, I was going to do one of these things and try to nest the soil around, but this is a wide enough opening, which I love. I love pots that flare out a little bit like that. So I'm not going to even worry about roughing this up, really. It doesn't need it. And does that look centered? Does that look centered, Aaron?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
I am the queen of planting stuff and planting it like 3 or 4 inches off. Like big topiaries in containers, and then I have to redo it. I don't know what the deal is, but okay, so I'm going to step back. Does that look straight? It looks straight from my angle. Looks good. And we're just going to gently tuck more soil in around the base. We want to make sure that we leave a good enough lip on the top to where we can really water it thoroughly, especially on a plant like this that needs more water. That just makes it a little bit easier. And eventually I will be putting some moss as a top dress. But I typically wait to do that. I give it like a week or 2 just to see how fast it actually is drying out. It's a lot easier to see when the soil is exposed. Of course, when I do add my little layer of moss, it will help keep moisture in a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit. Oh, isn't that pretty? I don't have a terracotta saucer that matches this container. Again, another reason why I wish that every company would make saucers that match. And maybe this one does, but they were not available with this container. But my mom has ordered some white and gray terracotta saucers down at the garden center, and they should arrive here in the next few weeks. So I'll pick one up then. In the meantime, this is the one I had that I think will be closest to fitting it. All my other ones are like real small or really big. So that works out pretty good, and I could just leave it like that. But I think I'm gonna paint it instead, just so it matches a little bit better. This one already has kind of a white patina. This is what our hard water does to everything. Soaks through, and then we get kind of this nice white look. I'm not gonna even worry about cleaning it all that much. This is probably going against the grain of the correct and proper process, but that's okay, I don't care. I've painted lots of pots before and never sealed them, and they do fine, and it could just be because we're so dry here, you know? I will knock off this excess soil. I think if you were wanting to paint this properly, well, first of all, terracotta is porous, so you would want to get a saucer that's glazed on the inside, which this one is. So if water goes in here, it's not going to soak through and mar the pot. So this one I think must have been sitting in water because it wasn't due to water soaking through. You can see where the water was sitting in this one, and that's where the hard water damage was. So this was probably just sitting on the ground, and any water that kind of pools up next to it or around it or touches it, it will do this eventually. So if you were to paint a terracotta saucer that was just raw and then didn't have that glazed surface, it would probably damage the paint. So in this case, I'm not worried about it because we've got the glaze. This is just a white chalk paint right here. And I'm just gonna give it one of these. Just a quick dry brush. And I don't want it to be perfect either. I want it to kind of have a patina as well. See that? Yeah. Oh man. Jeez. I just need to get the lip. I think that's all that's gonna show. And since I use such a small amount of paint, it'll only take about 5 minutes to dry. So we'll give it 5 minutes and I'll show you what it looks like. On the tag, it says underneath the features section that this topiary plant gives you instant home decor. It's been about 5 or so minutes, probably less than 5 minutes. And the saucer's done, nice and dry. Look at that, and it looks pretty darn close. Honestly, I think a little dirt helps for the patina to make it look right. So let's take a look at this. Doesn't that look good? Mm-hmm. And I might not even pick up a saucer for it. I think that looks really pretty. It almost looks like it's part of the container because of all these ridges. I don't know that I'd want it all that much bigger. So we should go put this in the Hartley next to the sink. Oh, you know what? I should probably drape this with something because it's a little chilly outside. My bag of soil still has soil in it. This might work. That works. Okay.
Here, I'll get the door.
That would be wonderful, thank you. Repotting with me is kind of chaos, really. Oh, there we go. Oh. Doesn't that look beautiful? All right, I'm gonna water it now quick. You can get a good amount of water in there if you leave a proper lip. Let's see how long it takes to drain. While we're waiting for that, look at this. This is the amaryllis from Gardener's Supply. Just starting to bloom and it's got tons of buds. All right, I'm gonna hit it again.
Just twice?
I think so. I'm gonna check the saucer here in a minute to see if it made it down to the bottom. I just want it to be thoroughly moist to start off. The goal is to make sure it stays damp but not soggy wet. So there is that fine line, but I need to get a mister. I think I've got one in the house. I'll bring the mister out here so I can mist the topiary every once in a while I'm out here. I'm out here every day, so I can mist it every single day and hopefully it stays happy. But check this out, you guys. This is what happens sometimes and why it's so important to check it after you've watered. We may need to go grab some extra soil because it will, any air pockets will surface and we don't want that to happen. Then we might be okay. We don't want any roots to be exposed. Let's check the saucer underneath. Yep, we got water. Perfect. And then in terms of fertilizing, I'll probably just do once a month along with everything else in here and just see how it goes. But I do see that there is a bunch of new growth. It looks like it was trimmed not that long ago, but there is a bunch of new growth on the top. So that's promising and hopefully it really likes its new home in here. I love it. I would love to have like a collection of topiary right here on this table. It'd be so pretty. My dill needs water. Dill needs water every day, twice a day. I think it needs a bigger pot. Anyway, you guys, that is it for today. Just wanted to show you my beautiful plant haul. I was so excited yesterday. It's been a beautiful few days. We've had sunshine, no wind, temps in the 40s. It's gonna get cold again though. So to see all of those beautiful plants yesterday just kind of filled me up. And it's fun to have those things to work with over the next little bit. Of course, they will be in the heat. We can't plant anything outside along with a lot of you guys who are still, experiencing winter. We are there as well. It's just kind of a waiting game at this point and we do what we can to get to the point where we can start planting outside again. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and we will see you in the next one. Bye.